I felt the vibrancy of this campus as I was pulling off 405 on Nordhoff at 8 o'clock this morning. I can talk about whatever's on your mind. I know our time is relatively short, so let's just let you ask me questions.
So, as you spoke of earlier, you're a product of all the California public school systems. You've gone through the CCCs, community colleges, CSUs, and UCs. So how do you think you can all work together, all the systems, all the universities, to better advance each other?
Yes. Great question. So obviously the issue of transferring out of a community college into a Cal State campus works. I mean, every year, roughly half of the students who come into the CSU somewhere come out of community colleges. But there's a lot of wasted credits. So, you know, you may, I don't know, have earned, around the semester system, you may have earned, 70 credits or 80 credits in a community college, of which, 50 transfer. And then rather than being ahead of the game, you're behind the game. So I think working out the details there makes good sense. Academically, I think in the UCs, obviously students that are interested in graduate work or professional schools, getting more opportunities. If you're close to a UC, you are with LA, not too far away, and Santa Barbara, a little bit of a distance. There's maybe some summer internship opportunities there. On the business side, we've already sat down with our friends at UC and said, we all buy a bunch of paper and pencils and bed sheets and test tubes and laptops. Why don't we go together on a purchase contract and lower the price even more? Instead of costing 10 cents, it's going to cost 8 cents. And so the power of two big systems will then help save money and allow us to redirect that to academics. I do think, since I came out of the UC, I know all the campus leaders and I know the leadership, all of the bosses changing, but I know everybody's doing the work. And so I think there's a lot of opportunity for us. The public, I think, expects us to not be siloed and fighting, but rather cooperating. The needs in California for each of the three systems is tremendous. It's not like if we're successful doing something that's going to hurt community college's business or the UC's business. So I think cooperation is the way to go. Thanks.
I'm the Chair of Legislative Affairs, and my question is more about your personal background. I know a lot of us are interested in going into education, a lot of us are interested in going into higher education. So I'm curious, in your background in physiology or just as an administrator in an institution, what experience has shaded your management style and your leadership system?
Yeah, great question. Well, I am probably the most unlikely person to have this job. If you would have known me when I was your age. And particularly if you would have known me when I was half your age. But like many in this room, I'm an immigrant. For me, it was Argentina. Many in this room, I'm first in my family to venture beyond high school. Many in this room, my parents couldn't give me the guidance as to where to go to school and what to study. And so it actually was a teacher or coach in high school who suggested I get involved in swimming when I broke my arm playing football. And it was a very serendipitous kind of first step in a direction beyond just being a kid. I lived in Northern California at the time. I really liked the beach, so I did a lot of surfing in Santa Cruz. I grew up in the 60s. There were a lot of distractions in the 60s. I am so grateful there wasn't YouTube in the 60s. So I had a purpose to be a high school teacher and a coach. And I did that for a while, and I decided I wanted to coach at a community college, and back in those days you needed a master's degree to do that. So I asked around, where do you get one of those? We'll go to Cal State, East Bay, Beaverton, East Bay. Got that, and I decided I wanted to coach at a four-year school, higher level. What do you need? You need an EDD or a PhD or something like that. Where do you get one of those? Well, you can go to either to Stanford or Berkeley, so Berkeley was cheaper, I applied, got in, and all of a sudden I got exposed to science in a way out of a physical activity, performance space, to understand there's enormous molecular, cellular, systems level science behind how we function, not only for high performance, but just in health and disease. So the combination of Cal State's and coaching got me into a research environment, which then sent me to Michigan after I finished my PhD to be a postdoc in a medical school there, which then led to a faculty job, which allowed me to run a laboratory studying how you transplant skeletal muscle from one place to another, and how you teach it to function differently, and then got into aging. And so I had this, very circuitous, one thing led to another. No coherence to the overall plan. And one day I was asked to be the department chair, and normally you sit down and have a long conversation about what that meant, and I said, sure. And did something right, and so then it led Berkeley to invite me back as department chair of the department I was a grad student in some 15 years ago. So I think one lesson I learned early on was that given an opportunity, you did the very best you could, and if you were lucky, you could exceed expectations that others had from you. That opens the next door. It doesn't have to be the same door. They opened a door right over here that you didn't know existed, but people watch. Informal networks watch. And then I got involved in leadership at the national level with a sports medicine group of MDs and PhDs and public health folk around physical activity and human health. And realized that I was good at running a lab and working with mice and rats and muscles and molecules, but also good working with people across the nation. If you get orthopedic surgeons and health educators to agree on something, that's not an easy task, and I have the ability to listen and find places that we could work together. Which led to dean, to provost, to president in 3 places, Oregon State, Idaho, and the Riverside campus of the University of California. So when these guys came around and asked me if I was interested, I said, no, I'm enjoying the campus-based leadership. I think if I look back now, the thing that I found to be important in those early experiences of running a team, or running a laboratory, or running a department, is that you have the ability to respect everybody, to set a goal, and to work day and night to achieve that goal, to seek success, but manage failure. And when you fail, you try again. And I think those are the lessons then that in many respects I use today as a team. Team's pretty darn big now, 450,000 of you and 44,000 employees and 23, footprints across the 1,000-mile long campus. But it's the same idea of respecting differences, point of views, having goals. Our goal is access, quality, affordability, and completion. We can all agree on those goals. So how do you as a student help us get there? How do I as an administrator help us get there? And then you have that anchor. So in sports, it's, beat the turkeys across town, right? That's your goal. Simpler, but the concept is the same. And finally, I think the ability to say, I don't know. I mean, I've never felt like I was smart enough for any of the jobs I've had. And so I've always early on been able to say, I just don't know. I have an instinct. Anybody here have a different idea? It doesn't have to be my idea. I want the best idea to put in play. And any idea that gets touched by more people will become the very best idea. And so no pride of ownership, a lot of pride and enthusiasm and optimism. I don't know if that helps. It's a career that shouldn't have happened, but I'm glad it did.
And it all started with a broken arm.
It all started with, I was a sophomore in high school. I was 5'11", 118 pounds, and they had me playing defensive tackle. And I was a young kid. I skipped a grade because of being an immigrant, and my birthday's in the summer, so I was young, and I was a late physical mature. And those of you who remember those days as men in the room here, when you're that age, there are guys like me, and there's guys that have been shaving for 5 years. And when somebody of that size and muscle mass hits a guy of my size and muscle mass, it's not a pretty sight. So it led me to a non-contact sport. Crazy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christopher.
Yep, thank you. Well, we hope that you enjoy your day here. And, it's a fantastic university, and I just want to say on behalf of students, welcome. And also, when you start to experience the campus, you really see that the campus collaborates better than any other institution I've ever been to. And it's truly amazing to see how much the university cares about student voice. I sit on every committee ever invented, and it's great to see that shared governance. And I'm proud to be here, and I know everyone at this table is, and all the students that are here are happy to be here, and we're happy that you're here. We also got you some stuff, so.
We just have a few things we'd like to present you with to remember Northridge. One is to add to the collection of caps. Northridge hat right here. We also have our annual picture sticking you up. There you go. We have you can hold on to it, it's okay. And finally, something to remember all associated students by. We would love to present the photos. A lot of colors. Yes, the matter of subjects and right behind us there.
That matter doesn't have a spear.
That would be a little complicated there.
Thanks so much. Thanks for your time.